Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that late start. We could not get YouTube to pick up, so we are here now. So, gosh, that was a lot of stuff going on there. Hope you're all doing well. Let me get the chat up here so I can catch everybody. Here and then. Apologize again for being late. We are getting in the chat to see who's all there. Tonight has a good topic, I think. We got some people viewing from everywhere. We are on seven different places tonight, so I hope you're all doing well. The chat is open, so if you have any questions or anything you want to ask tonight or whatever, hold on here. I asked John for some help, and he asked me if I got help, and I'm telling him I just got it. So there, cool. Move some stuff over. Tonight we're going to be talking about Facebook user. Someone from Facebook mentioned that they had time to go grab their beer. Good. Tonight we're going to be talking about digital versus live. And basically what it is we're going to talk about the fact that over this past year, DJing, meetings, Hangouts, Expos, seminars, everything has been on virtual or digital as opposed to live. And we're going to talk a little bit about both of those benefits and pros and cons, and how you can, use these for your advantage in different ways. So that's what we're basically going to talk about tonight. If you've never watched the show, what we usually do at the beginning is we usually go through and see who's in the chat, because we have viewers from all over the world, and I'd like to see where everybody's tuning in from tonight. So if you're in the chat and you're from anywhere other than where I'm at right now here in the studio, drop it in the chat, shout out your name and where you're from, and I'll give a shout out back to you. I can close some screens down. I don't need to have all these open. So there we go. We've got a little bit better view. But again, tonight we're going to be talking about digital versus live, and it's a lot of different things going on there. And I hope to touch on everything from video to audio to talking to everything. So that's what I think about there. So Facebook user says, "Hey MJ, in my chat, I apologize. Anybody on Facebook, it just shows up as Facebook user. I apologize." Chad from Walla Walla, Washington. Hope you're doing well. Sean, hello. Stephen, what's going on? From the UK. So Sean's from the UK. So we've got two countries. Savannah, Georgia. Hello, how are you? So we got some people. I love this. I love the fact that we get to join together, and there's so many. And again, for those who just tuned in, everybody else sat for about the first 10 minutes and just didn't get anything, because I could not. If you're watching somewhere other than YouTube, you probably just saw that intro thing spinning forever, because that's what that's all I could get out of it, But we had to get the Orlando's in the house. Hello, what's going on? Iowa, awesome. Alberta, Canada. So we've got 3 countries now. Thank you, everybody. But what was I going to say? But yeah, I got all of them to pick up, but the YouTube channel, the main one, and we finally got it to pick up there. Missouri, David, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in, supporting like you always do. Again, if you're just tuning in, tonight's topic is digital versus live, and we're going to be talking about everything that we've done over the past year, or seen, or watched, or got an invite to. Hello, San Bernardino, California. What's going on? I love this. East Coast, West Coast. YouTube's not playing now? Somebody just said YouTube's not playing. Let me check. Did YouTube stop? YouTube stopped. What the hey? I have no idea, guys. I apologize. I'm just going to keep going. So whoever gets to tune in tonight gets to tune in, because I don't know why this is doing this. It was working for a while, wasn't it? Making sure everything's here. Says we still have 7 people tuned in there, but there's no video. I can see that clearly. I have no idea what's going on there. It's not even showing me the page or anything. And I'm still broadcasting. So wherever our 25 people are watching from, I hope you're doing well. John says he's on YouTube and he sees me. Can everybody else see me? Because like I said, when I try to pull it up, I get nothing right now at all. It's totally blank. Now, see, we have South Jersey. What's going on? Oh, the Hubcap dude. What's going on, Peter? There's two different YouTube channels. There is the Disc Jockey News and there is the DJing TV. So which one are you on and which one's working? So, Sean, which one are you on, the Disc Jockey News or the DJing TV? So, Facebook user says it's playing now. All right, so they say it's all working well, so we're just moving on. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate all that. This past year has been a very challenging year for everybody. So many different things that we had to put on our plate that are different. Yeah, he's on Disc Jockey News. So, again, I don't know what it is. Mine just quit too, so whoever said it, theirs quit. Mine did too, but everybody else is fine, so that's good. But, we had to do a lot of different things, and what kind of made me want to do this topic tonight is that we shortly, a week ago, had the virtual NAM. And for those of you who don't know, NAM stands for National Association of Musical Merchants, and it means pretty much anybody in the entertainment world that does music, and that can be guitars, pianos, lighting, speakers, chords, DJ equipment, studio equipment, anything like that whatsoever. Someone just said Disc Jockey News YouTube is not working. So I don't know. We'll get it on. If one of them's not working, we'll put it on there later on. So somebody just sent me a link to one of the two. And let me see which one it is there. I can't tell. It doesn't really matter. We'll fix it later. That's the Disc Jockey News one, and it seems to be doing fine. Yeah, I'm there. I'm looking at myself. Not that I want to, but I have to. Anyways, we just finished the NAM, National Association of Musical Merchants, and they decided to do a virtual or digital expo this year. And it was kind of neat because they did plan out all the different things that were going on there. There were seminars for all different kinds of topics. Almost all of them were pre-recorded, but were released at a certain time. So once an hour became a new one. So you kind of got to go in there and follow them like you were going to a different seminar. And in all of those, just like our chat here tonight with this video, you were able to comment with other people that were there, talk about it, network. In fact, they even had a thing where you signed up, kind of like I'm just going to use Facebook as an example, where you created a little page of your stuff, and you could connect with other people and send messages and all kinds of stuff like that. So it was kind of neat that they made something like that, and it was quite large because I didn't even get to catch everything. Plus, keep in mind that probably 90% of that show has something other than the DJ world. There's very little in the DJ world, but the content they had, I felt it was very good. Pioneer had stuff every hour on Thursday and Friday. It was awesome. A lot of great performances, talking about some of their new equipment, stuff like that. I want to go back to the fall when the Atlantic City DJ Times DJ Expo had their little online thing, and it was kind of like that, but much, much smaller, to where they only had like a couple of videos a day and a couple of performances a day, and that's all they had, nothing more. You look at Disc Jockey News, we have had our virtual expos going on. We have another one coming up in February. So all of this has kind of taken us to a new place. If you have not yet, pardon me, if you have not yet, digital DJing online streaming is big. If you've lived under a rock in the DJ world, you don't know that. But it's something that a lot of us have taken to. In fact, tonight after this show at 10 p.m. over on twitch.tv/DJ Michael Joseph and youtube.com/DJ Michael Joseph. I'm going to be doing a 2-hour set, but tonight I'm going to be doing a little bit different. I'm going to be doing kind of like a radio show, where I'm going to be talking every 3 or 4 songs, telling about the songs that I play, because my Off the Wall Wednesday live DJ mixes have always been very unique cuts that I have, like weird remixes or mashups, and I'm going to do that. But I'm going to talk a little bit about them every 3 or 4 songs. Nothing major. I'm not going to talk over it. No shout-outs. But I'm thinking that I want to keep doing this and kind of turn those into audio podcasts to put up, because I do have podcasts both on my website. You can go to the audio mixes, and you can listen to a lot of both live mixes that I've done and studio stuff, and everything's there. Plus, it's also on iTunes. So if you're an iTunes person, just search for DJ Michael Joseph in the Mix or Michael Joseph in the Mix. I forget the name of it. But that's a whole world of stuff to where people have developed. I have some friends of mine who have pretty big wedding businesses. And what they have done is created their own little home studio and have put together marketing material for doing live events virtually from their house. So if you have a party, whether it be at your house or something small, and you want to DJ, but you want to limit the people that are there, they have set up a thing to where, and marketing, not just set up in their house, but they've done the marketing, they've done these little videos that advertise and talk about the fact that if you have a party, we can do it live, share cameras so I can see the crowd, do shout outs, requests, all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what we've gotten into, that all these things have developed. DJing TV has the chill room that happens every single night. We started it at the beginning of the lockdown. And it involves a place where DJs can come and hang out on Zoom. And it's not about DJs DJing. It's just people who are DJing can go and talk. We can talk about DJ stuff to people who don't get annoyed at us geeking out over what kind of cord we have, or what all those kinds of things that people who aren't into DJing or gear kind of roll their eyes. But there's a lot of conversation there that has nothing at all to do with DJing. So it's a place to hang out. So that has become a hangout, and there are people from all over the world that jump in there all the time. So we're building this whole world closer. It was always there, but it's closer because of this time where we're shut down in our own little places. So I want to talk about all these different areas, and I want to talk about and get your opinion. We have a live chat going, so I want to hear your shout outs and all this stuff. But where do you feel that for this time right now, these things work and don't work? And in the future, let's say we kind of go back to normal. Let's just use the word normal, whatever that ends up being. And could these things still be put to use to benefit you as a DJ, you as your DJ business, your wedding business, whatever it is? Like I said, this music and mixing show is mostly about mixing DJs and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff I covers everybody. And that's one of the things that as this develops, what can of these non-live events make it to where they become a normal part of your business and usable? Say hello to John Holman for joining in. Appreciate that. John I need to get him on the show one night. He's a friend of mine. I've known him a long time, has a lot of history in the DJ business. John, we're going to talk after the show. I definitely have to have you on soon. You guys will really appreciate him, his stories and stuff like that, but thank you for tuning in. But what do you think on these things, the digital versus live world? I know that there are software out there where two people can work on the same piece of music from different parts of the country, and they can work simultaneously on this stuff. So there's people who are in the studio that can work together like that, even beyond just I work on this, send you the files, you work on that, send me there's stuff that can be done at the same time. So this entire, hello Jake, saying hello to people, or saying hello to me in the chat. So this entire thing has kind of developed to where we don't necessarily need to be there. Good example for this was I used to be a vocal performer way back in the day, and one of the things is you kind of had to live near one of the hubs of the recording industry, whether it be New York City, Nashville, LA, Miami. There's a couple different places where you kind of had to be in that hub. And about the time I was getting out of it is when the digital age really started moving. It was after Napster when everybody started exchanging music, and it became, we don't own a CD, we own an MP3. Stuff like that, and to where you didn't need to be in those cities to do the work with the people, to where you could work on stuff, send it to them, they could send you some music, you'd record a vocal here, and it all became very, very almost tactile in a digital sense. And we are definitely in that, so that right now, I want to look at the things that are going on. I want to talk about the Expo first, because like I said, that was what brought me to this, the NAMM Virtual Expo, and see about how it works. For me, I enjoyed it because, I don't know if you've ever heard me mention or not, I'm not a people person. I've said that a time or two. But it was nice to sit here and look at the different videos, the people, both teaching and talking about music, and there were musical performances and DJ performances and stuff like that. I got to look into the brands a little bit better in my pace, as opposed to someone standing there talking to me about their brand, and I have to all of a sudden start a conversation with them. So for people like me, this works. On the other side of that, because I DJ, hello, was it Nicole? Everybody's saying hi. How's everybody doing? But for the other side of my career, each year I'm blessed to get to DJ in the Denon booth at the Atlantic City DJ Expo, and that's something I obviously couldn't do unless I was there. I don't foresee them ever doing a virtual performance in a booth. They have the screen there and everything, but that's not really what that's about. So there are different sides that benefit me. Again, this is not for everybody, but it benefits me. one of the things of the advantage of the live versus the digital is I like to test equipment out before I use it. And if you're that type of person where you're not sure, you can go to the expo, go into the showroom, and touch about any piece of equipment that you ever wanted to try and decide if it's for you or not. And a lot of times you can actually get a good deal there. So I see advantages and disadvantages to both. I was talking with a friend of mine last Saturday night, another DJ, about where this will go. The digital side of it will go when things kind of get back to normal and we can go like to Atlantic City Expo or whatever. Are they going to offer a side of that is all digital for a price where you could possibly watch digitally from your house the seminars that you want to watch? If you go to the expo, you can say at 3 o'clock I want to hit this person's seminar, 4 o'clock I want to hit this person's seminar, stuff like that. But if you want to do it from home and still catch those seminars, maybe they might have a different price or something. So all of this stuff, it becomes something that is for everybody, but not everything is for everyone, if that makes sense. Because that's what him and I are talking about, where you're going to have three. We're also talked about, are people going to be buck wild and ready to go out as soon as we get the go-ahead to go out? Or are some people going to be a little bit more tentative and going, I'm not ready for this yet. I'm not sure if we're all over it or past it or whatever words you want to use. So it's kind of interesting how that, in our discussion I had with him, was where this is all going to go down the road. I feel it's going to be a balance because, like I said, there are people that just can't afford to go to the expo. They can maybe afford a pass, but to drive there, hotel, because hotels are not cheap, all that kind of stuff. Food there is not cheap. So it becomes very expensive and out of a lot of people's range. So if you create an atmosphere to where they do pick certain ones, like you have to pay to see them, where you could pay to see a different seminar or something like that, that's something that some of us would kind of like going, yeah, I could just sit at home, take notes, all that kind of stuff. And I only paid the entrance fee. I didn't pay any kind of hotels or food or anything like that, but you kind of lose the network. Again, everybody talks about network. Live, yes, you can network, and you can network digital, but it's nothing like live. But also, for a lot of people who DJ in their local area, I could network there a month of Sundays. So if I wasn't here in the Disc Jockey News world or DJing in the Denim booth or anything like that, I could network a month of Sundays, and that's not going to affect my employment here where I'm at DJing at the places I'm DJing. So networking has benefits, and it has nothing to do also with some of what we do to make our income. So the advantages and disadvantages of both, and you kind of have to roll the dice to see what works for you and your business. So I see some questions coming in the chat. I'm going to hit a few of those, and then we'll go on to performances and live stuff like that. State of Zen says, I think when we do get back to normal, there will be a huge demand for DJ performing live due to the increase in events and people just wanting to get out. That's possible. Everybody keeps talking about the Roaring 20s, and we're going to have another version of the Roaring 20s. But keep in mind, there's two things terrible that happened in the 20s, the past 20s. So, we don't want to go down those roads. But I think it's going to be both. Like I said, I think some people are just going to realize, hey, I don't need to go out every weekend. It doesn't benefit me. I don't have to go out every weekend. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I'll just stay at home. And I know some of these places. I know bands that have a thing for their, what back in the day we used to call them super fans. And it's the real fan follower fans. And they do a thing to where if you part of their fan club and you pay a certain thing, they will live broadcast like the sound check, the whole sound check and different things going on stage. So if you're a fan, you can digitally watch that if you don't get to go to the show, or if you go to the show, you can watch that before you go to the show. So there are bands and stuff already thinking about this whole behind the scenes live thing as opposed to being there. So will there be more performances and call for that? Possible. One of the things that my friend and I were talking about was the musical style, and I've actually heard 3 or 4 people say this, and I agree, that there won't necessarily be a hammering singularity of styles. There's going to be a lot of need for open format DJs hitting a lot of broad things because there are going to be a lot of different people that just want to go out, and it's not going to be just this. It's going to be, hey, I get a chance to go out, I'm going to go out, or hey, we're going out, come with this sort of thing. So I think the need for kind of an open format DJ is going to be, I think it's going to be more in demand than it was before. So I hope you are right, State of Zen, on that. I really do. Dave Wolf said he agrees with Zen, one of my first weddings after lockdown. Keep in mind, some people are back to doing events. People like myself and other places, still, you've got a maximum of 50 people or less, depending on where it's at. 10 people for an indoor thing, 50 people for an outdoor. So keep in mind that a lot of the country, like here where I live, I can't go to a restaurant and sit down. Well, I can, but it's going to be very limited, and you really have to put an order in ahead of time, because a friend of mine was at a place recently where she got pickup, and she said she walked in there, and there was a whole line of people getting pickup food, and there was 2 couples sitting in the restaurant, because that's all the more they were allowed to have sit down is 2 couples. So not all of us are back to that, but back to what Dave said, people were enjoying cocktail music. They were happy to be out around people. Okay, that's cool. I'm not sure what, Ken, you mean by that. Maybe you could tell me what you mean by that, Ken. I'm not sure. I'm reading down some of the chats because we have people both on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're not understanding some of the people that in the chat, I have them in other places. Said my gripe is online events are happening live during weekdays. For those of us with day jobs, we cannot join in live stream involved with the client. That is very true. See, that's where sometimes those of us who are full-time DJs, and keep in mind, according to the Digital DJ Tips survey each year, there's only about 10% of everyone who calls themselves a DJ that makes 75 to 100% of their income from DJing. So there's only 10% of us who are full-time DJs. The rest of you have a day job of some sort or another, and that does make that kind of impossible for you to join in any kind of daytime event at all. So I feel you there for sure. Dave said he doesn't see himself taking off a day to watch a thing online. But again, some people are, like I said, for the DJ Expo, if you're going to the DJ Expo, it's Monday through Thursday or Friday, depending on when you leave to go home, or Wednesday to yeah. But we would be taking the week off anyways. So if you're going to get information from these things, you could take the week off the same way, watch your seminars during the day, and then go do whatever you want to at night. Like for some of us who DJ at night, we would be watching the seminars during the day and then going DJing, making money at night. And that's probably what I would do if I was in that situation. See what we got here. Someone says they are DJing the Tim Tebow Night to Shine virtual Zoom. 2 texts there. I had to get across all of those. Yeah, that's cool. See, there's a bunch of stuff going like that. I've had many people be a part of fundraisers. I was a part of a live fundraiser this year. But there's a lot going on there. And I appreciate everyone bringing that up. Like I said, if you have any opinions on this, let me know. I want to talk more about the performance side, because as a former vocal performer, live performer, and also when it comes to DJing, I think a DJ should DJ, not play a song and stuff like that. As the show's about the mix DJ, we talk about the fact that if you're not mixing, you're not DJing. And I don't mean to offend anybody out there. Please do not jump on the chat and shoot me. But I talk about that kind of DJing and how that kind of DJ thrives in that live performance where they're being watched and being seen. So that is kind of taken away somewhat from the digital side of it, but it's still something there. And I think that the virtual stuff, if like with this, what I have the overhead camera here, and it's locked up as always, you can see stuff on there and be able to be a little bit more interactive, because you're able to have multiple cameras, so you can see me from here and different things. Like my one, when I do my live Twitch set, is done like this, to where this is normally, is the video going to pick up? Yeah, so we have the music video down there. The deck, I'll power off the deck so you can see the deck and come back up with it. But this is the kind of stuff that if you were doing a live event with someone, let me reattach that. One second here. I'm trying to get the deck to pick back up again here. And there, it should be picking back up. Yep, there we go. All right, so yeah, so if I was doing a live event like this, this is what you would be seeing, and I can switch stuff around, and you can have different views on different things like that, or the video and the other things. So it gives you an advantage of being able to be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, detail-oriented. You could be seen a little bit more, the live events like that. You could be showing off a little bit more of your skill like a performer, would have that opportunity. So it gives me a little bit more control. And one of my favorite things it gives me control over is the fact that I ain't got people asking for requests. So that makes me happy. John said you can also watch recorded seminars at the time you choose, which is exactly what the NAM did, where they allowed, once the thing went live, so let's say I had a seminar and it was coming on at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. You couldn't watch it till then, but it was on there still now to this day. You can go back and watch stuff that's there. So that could be an advantage to where if you have the sign-in and you pay for your thing, you can watch it live, or, being the live, they're obviously going to take questions from the people who aren't there. Like, a lot of times that the people doing the seminars will take questions from people live. They will obviously take questions from people on the virtual side of it, the digital side. But you won't be able to ask afterwards, but you'll still be able to see it later that evening. So thank you for pointing that out, John. I appreciate that, because that's, like I said, that's what NAM did, and you could ask questions and all kinds of stuff. But you also got the opportunity of the other. So let's go a little bit further on this. DJ Scars in the house. What's going on? I got some of my local guys here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate that. But let's take it a little bit further. Let's talk about like the Zoom meetings and stuff. We talked about the seminars, and we talked about the live performances of the DJs and different things that you could possibly turn yourself into and do down the road as things go back to normal. But what about the meetings? I know businesses that aren't going to be bringing people back into the office as much. There's going to be a lot less people working in physical offices now. There's going to be a lot more people working from home, which I would be... If they had this back when I worked in corporate America, I'd be like, yes, thank you, I'll stay at home. Again, because I'm such a people person. But there's stuff like that that's going on. There's meetings. So you think about every meeting that you might go to. Here in Pennsylvania, I don't know if they still do. They used to have a Western Pennsylvania Disc Jockey Association, and they would get together once a month and talk about stuff. They had asked me to come in and help with some stuff, and I was trying to get them to do some of it digitally like this, so people who couldn't make it in, because it was usually done on a weeknight, and some people can't make it to wherever the meeting's at, or if they don't want to even just travel that far, to do digital stuff like that. But what if some of these things got to be like this, to where instead of the Zoom being everybody all over the place like we do with Disc Jockey News and the Chill Room, what if it was local stuff? So, you had your local Denon users, or the Rain meetup, or the Pioneer Night, or whatever, where you could meet up and ask questions and talk to each other about equipment. And that way, it can be an open thing, maybe watched by some sort of mediator or something like that. And it can be a lot. So the Zoom things have an advantage, but also when it gets back to that, networking is networking is networking. As much as I hate that, there is no substitute for physically being there. And as people know, who watch me, that nights that, other than when we're in lockdown, nights when I'm not DJing, I go out and hit 3 or 4 places just to network with other DJs, club owners, bar owners, all that kind of stuff. And even this past Saturday, I snuck out and I had 2 friends that were DJing at 2 different places, and I hung out with a little bit on each one of them. So I networked with 2 manager and 2 different DJs on Saturday night in my mask. I wasn't touching anything. I'm standing there talking to everybody like this. How are you? I wasn't leaning on nothing. I wasn't touching nothing. But that's the kind of stuff that, you can do and should do. Get out when you can. But the digital side of it can give us an advantage of networking without going out, and even just socializing without going out. While we have everybody here, can we have Howie or Robin or somebody throw in the link to the DJN TV chill room, and that happens every single night about 10 o'clock, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. People tune in, and it's not like I said, you don't even have to turn your camera on. You can just sit there with your camera off, your microphone off, and just listen to people. But I want that to be in the chat, so if you are interested in it, it is going on tonight. It goes on every night. Like I said, we started it. There's a history to it. And if you go to Disc Jockey News' YouTube channel, Brian and those guys just did a video on where it all began, because I'm not sure where their history of it is, but my first pick of it was live in Las Vegas last February when I was there for the Photo Booth Expo, DJing TV, DJ Expo thingy, where I spoke at and DJ'd at. And that's where it kind of began, and we kind of developed it into the online thing. So the meetings can be something that can go even further than that. in the chat, feel free to jump in now and talk to me about other things. We only have a little bit of time left. I want to take it to you guys in the chat. Name me some other things that you can see both advantage and disadvantage, digital versus live nowadays, and what can you do or what are you currently doing? Like I told you about my two friends who kind of built their own little studio and are marketing and planning on doing remote DJing for events. What have you seen? Someone asked me to put my Twitch link in there. Basically, it's twitch.tv/DJ Michael Joseph or youtube.com/DJ Michael Joseph. I'm DJ Michael Joseph everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, the only place I'm at is I have Facebook, DJ Michael Joseph 1. So if you want to look for that, that's over there. But name some of the other things that you might be working on yourself. I know I do the DJ classes that I teach that are done online, and I've had students from all over the place, literally all over the place, Ukraine, Alaska, West Coast, East Coast, everywhere, and I do it from my little studio here, and you kind of get to see what I showed you there, that whole thing, and you can see hands-on stuff as I'm doing different things. I can share the software, so education in that sense can be something that you can do that way too. So anybody in the chat, tell me about what's going on. Like, what are you doing out there? Is anybody doing anything? Or is this also tell me if this is the first time you've ever thought about any of this, because that's entirely possible that it is. So let me know. Like I said, we're almost done. I'm taking your questions now. Again, remind you that after this at 10 p.m. shortly thereafter, I'm going to be doing one of my normal sets over on Twitch. And tonight's going to be a little different because I'm going to possibly develop this into like a twice-a-month show where I do it like a radio show, but talking about some of the cuts that I use, because I'm a person who digs. Or back in the day, you dug for records and stuff like that, but I dig through digital stuff to try to get unusual versions of stuff or cool mashups, and that's what my Off the Wall Wednesday came about, because I was trying to get songs I could play where the algorithm on Facebook didn't kick me off really quick, and that's where the Off the Wall Wednesdays came from. So I'm going to develop it into a little thing where I'm maybe doing as a radio show to where you can watch it live, but obviously I record everything, and I'm going to take that and maybe start putting that up as a twice-a-month thing that is, like a radio show sort of thing, because I recently watched Armin van Helden's State of Trance and watched what he does. I mean, that's got to be one of the world's biggest, most famous online mixing things, it has to do with DJing, and he really doesn't even DJ. He just kind of plays stuff and talks every little bit, and I thought, well, if he can do that, I can do my thing, and do it my way. So let me know what's going on here. John, thank you first off for all the support. John said, networking now is very important. Touch base with all your regular spots. They are literally hundreds of new DJs that will be coming out of the woodwork. Ain't that the truth? As those of you who remember, there was a 90s comedian talked about Bebe's kids, and they said Bebe's kids don't die, they just multiply. And that's what DJs are like. They don't die, they just multiply. So there's a whole lot of DJs that got equipment that I've talked to 3 DJs recently who own expensive equipment and have never DJ'd out ever. They just like DJing and playing with it and having fun. So some of these guys maybe taking spots. There's a lot of guys that walked away from the DJ world because of the fact that it's very unpredictable, which it's always been that way. But it's kind of interesting of all that. So there will be a lots coming out. I don't know who all is going to quit. I don't know what level I'm going to be doing when I go back, because I have some other stuff. Like I said, those of you who follow me, I just finished the first draft on my book, so that might be something that will be speaking engagements on that soon. It's not out yet. I'm not giving any other information than that. It's still being edited and checked and all that kind of stuff, so I have to work through all that. But, yeah, the networking side of it and DJing, we don't know what's going to be going on there. So let me know if you're doing anything else there. Jimmy's in the chat now. What's going on? Again, can someone please put in the link for the chill room in there? Just about finished. I'll put my links in there, so if you do want them, that's that one. And I would say for you guys to go there. It's also on YouTube, but that's the place to go because it's easier. You can join in the chat and stuff like that. Jimmy says he's got 3 spots waiting as soon as they can legally have him DJ. Yeah, I touched base with one of my players. Thank you, Robin. That's the chill room that Robin just put in the chat for YouTube. Those are on Facebook. You're not going to see that because it was put in the YouTube, and those are on Facebook. You're not going to. Yeah, you did see mine because my Facebook posted everywhere. But the chill room is in there, so you can see that. But I actually touched base with 2 of the places recently and checked on stuff, and the one guy actually said, because after I said, are you going to be coming back this month? Are we doing? He says, no, we're not coming back this month. We're going to revisit it in February. And I said, okay, thank you. I just want to let you know that I really appreciate getting DJ there in the past, all that kind of stuff. And he goes, hold on. Don't count us out. We'll have you back. So that was good for them to come at me with that much positive reinforcement that they're going to do that. So that's nice to get that from the people who hire you, because that means they value what you do. And if you're anything like me, you work hard at what you do and you put your heart and soul into it. So to hear the people that matter say, well done or whatever, that meant a lot to me. So I appreciate that. Anybody else in the chat before we cut it out tonight? Tonight, just in case you don't, if you just joined us or something, because I'm seeing the numbers jump up and down tonight, we talked about live versus digital, everything, expos, performances, meetings, work, everything. I know a company that used to have their studio, because they have an office, and they allowed their brides to video call with them if they ever want to. And that's something that, is that something you do with any meetings, or do you think you would have brides that would be more comfortable now doing the video meeting as opposed to meeting live if they choose to? Because some people may just not have the time to come meet you or whatever. I hope they do. They're paying for you, so I hope they have that time. But is that something you think can go in the future? So Jimmy's talking about when they're going to allow him to DJ. He said St. Patrick's Day and then Cinco de Mayo. How about 4th of July? I don't think so. But again, John, who is in the chat tonight, John Holman, him and I were talking on the phone the other day. And I remember when this all started out last year, telling him, dude, this is only going to be a couple months. I don't know what everybody's getting all bent out of shape for. And here we are like a year later, and wow, was I off base on that. So yeah. All right, so I think that's about everything. We don't have any more questions coming in, all that stuff. Hope tonight was a good topic. As always, keep in mind that a lot of my topics come from you guys, the questions you ask. So if there's something you want to see me cover, if you want to see a mixing thing, because like I said, I usually have the decks up for these class, for the shows. Aside from certain nights when I do it in my studio with the dual screens, because that's the place I like to do it when I'm sharing stuff, and it's just a lot easier over there for me to share the stuff as opposed to here. But it can be mixing stuff you guys want to hear. It can be music stuff, software, hardware, all that kind of stuff. So let me know. Send me a message. Like I said, I'm DJ Michael Joseph everywhere. Find me on Facebook, searching that, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Probably still out there somewhere. There's a DJ Michael Joseph on MySpace. I don't think so. I think that got shut down. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys want to see here in the future. I'm getting to do every Monday night. Recently came back and did the Monday night chat this past couple of weeks, and I'm still going to be there this week. So you can join me at 9 p.m. on Mondays here on Disc Jockey News with John Young and Dan Carpenter as part of the Monday night chat. We have different topics John brings up and then puts Dan and I in there, because Dan is primarily a wedding DJ and I'm primarily a club and bar DJ. And we just really kind of give our opposite opinions to things, and it's kind of neat being able to look at things from both sides. Sometimes we agree on stuff, sometimes we don't. So keep an eye on that every Monday night, 9 p.m. on Disc Jockey, youtube.com/Disc Jockey News. So without anything else, I think I'm done talking. Again, join me. If you're watching this on demand later on, what I'm about to say doesn't matter, but 10 o'clock tonight here, Wednesday, January 27th, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm going to be over on Twitch and YouTube, both DJ Michael Joseph, and doing a live set, mixing and stuff, and I'll be talking about something that's probably going to end up being recorded down the road in the future, put up on, because I have podcast of mixes that I've done over the years, live mixes from different places, and this might be something there. So again, thanks to everybody for the thumbs up, the hands on, share if you can. That's the only way this show gets bigger, is that if everybody just shares and stuff, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. And as I end my show every single time, I always want to encourage you guys. Things get rough in life, and right now we are so unsure of what's going to happen in the future. And I keep saying it doesn't matter who's in office, it doesn't matter who's in charge. What matters is each other. That's the only way we're going to get through this, is if we help each other. You don't have to go across the world and do something for someone you've never met. If the person standing next to you in line at the grocery store and they need help and you help, that's what it's about. People who are right there within your arm reach, helping those. That's how we're all going to get through this, with each other, helping each other. So, till next time, I want to thank you guys again. God bless. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And good night.